While it seems we're being presented with new technological improvements in our everyday lives, U.S. military technology is advancing 10 times faster. In the modern age we live in, it is becoming increasingly more important to update our communication systems in order to make an impact. Hello, this is Kelly Manzo for demtech.org. A quick overview of these military communication systems can demonstrate that while military advancements may seem rapid and complex, they have paved the way for many of the everyday communication technologies we may take for granted. In order to get a better grasp on the complex world of military technology, I have interviewed a member of the Sacred Heart ROTC program, Sergeant Klzinski. He was generous enough to offer some insight on past and present technologies and some ideas of what the future might hold.
Starting back to even this Revolutionary War, that was our first conflict as an American nation. Primary method means back then were a variety of things that were used in different aspects of military. There's the carrier pigeon was used. A lot of messengers, personal messages. So there were soldiers whose jobs it was in order to take. Their job was to get information from a commander and relay it to other commanders in the field. They would take it by foot. There's plenty of historical documents as far as how communication was passed on, even like Paul Revere's infamous ride through Boston and through Massachusetts. There's a lot of different ways of communicating back then in the military. It's progressed over the years. The First World War still used a lot of couriers, guys on a motorcycle or guys walking on foot or on horseback, taking messages from the battle lines to the commanders. As time progressed, Second World War, they started using a telephone system that was hardwired landline. So you had to run a cable from one telephone system all the way back down to where the headquarters was at and tie that into another system. And they started developing what we familiarly call walkie-talkies, those big handheld radios, communicate back and forth on an FM, frequency modulation operated systems. The walkie-talkie radio, the FM radio, started to develop because they found it was a lighter, more portable. They didn't have to be hardwired into a system. So as time goes on, Korea, they started using what's called a man-pack. There was a radio called a Prick 77. It's a big metal box that would be strapped to the back of a soldier, and they could communicate back to headquarters where they would have a centralized system. So the Army started developing back in the 80s, and it really progressed into the 90s, a system called SINGARs. What that is, it's based on a system called frequency hopping. So it has set aside maybe 200,000 channels that it uses. So as a soldier's talking on the SINGAR's radio to their headquarters, the frequency will jump. The signal will jump from channel to channel. It jumps some 3 channels every second. That's the primary system that they use for talking, for audio, back and forth. There's another system that we use is what we call Blue Force Tracker. And it's kind of like a upgraded version of a GPS. Now everybody's got GPS in their cars nowadays, and that kind of system, that technology developed from the military. You have in a lot of vehicles, you have this little computer screen that will give your location and location of friendly units out on the battlefield. It'll give locations of possible enemies in the area from different reports. They are developing a new system which is already being fielded in Iraq and Afghanistan called Land Warrior. What this is pretty much that same system that's already mounted in a vehicle is now it's portable on a person. So it's about the size of a book you wear on your uniform, and it's got this little display that will flip down from your helmet, and you can actually read messages, you can look at bad guys. So if you were a bad person I was looking for, I can cycle through all the pictures of all the known bad guys that I'm looking for and match your face up to a picture that we have stored in our database. You have a helmet-mounted camera that will send live feeds of you in the field straight back to your headquarters. So if you're going into a building searching for stuff, your commanders are seeing the exact same stuff that you're seeing, and it's a live system. So there may be like a small delay, but it's back and forth, constant. It's got a built-in radio to it, so you can verbally communicate with your higher headquarters. But the coolest thing is, like, you can get instantaneous feedback from your commanders, and the soldiers can push it up to their headquarters instantaneous. It's not like the old days where you had to wait for a runner to go bring a message over to headquarters and try to dodge bullets and jump over holes and try to evade capture and then bring that information back to you. The advancements in the future of communication technology are just limitless. I mean, there are just new things being put out every day. The microprocessor, the microchips are getting smaller and smaller. The size of, a grain of rice. It's just amazing at what they can do. I can't even imagine the systems they're going to have in the future. One thing the United States Army has always prided itself on is being the best equipped and best trained military in the world. And because of that funding that we have, we're able to provide these systems for the soldiers to be able to mitigate the risk of their lives in combat and to be able to help them advance and complete their mission successfully and safely.
Sergeant Klinzinski's comments have helped to put these military technologies into perspective. Some military experts applaud our continued refinement and production of these technologies, while others fear that too extreme a dependence on them could have crippling effects for our future. Whatever your stance on the subject may be, it is undeniable how substantial the evolution of military technology has been. For demtech.org, this is Kelly Manzo.